What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite.
That purple bling bling, y'all.
And your auditory canals are tuned into episode 301 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And as usual, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, got my partners in crime. First on deck, we got Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Lover.
That's me. I'm the place to be. You know me. Yee.
a.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that gamer stepdaddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Just had some Chinese food, so I'm full. I'm here.
Oh, that's what I had for dinner. That's what I had for dinner
There
today.
you go. See, like mine's. But yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good. Ready to talk about games. And yeah, let's go.
We don't fall asleep, man.
The takeout tryptophan effect.
There you go. Well, no turkey.
We'll land.
No turkey, so I think I'm good.
Of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. How's it going?
Hey, not bad. Everything's all good in the hood over here, man. So, I had a little time off of work, and I got my living room all, up to snuff on here. So, only thing I have left to get is some throw pillows, and I have an actual grown man living room. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't have games spread out everywhere. They're all organized in a bookcase. So, yeah. So, that's what I'm up to. Yeah. Otherwise, no, I've just been kind of just kicking it. I had 4 days off of work, so it's always good. So
Nice. That's always nice to have some time away. All right, folks. Well, as usual,
How are you, Kev?
I'm fine. Tired, working, but
Yeah.
it's just taking it one day at a time, I suppose.
That's all you can do.
Yep. So, that said, we're going to start into what is always our first topic on the docket. We got a playlist, if I can enunciate, dropping right now. So, let's kick things off with Jabroni. What you been playing this past week or two?
As far as my usuals, I mean, obviously, I'm still playing Borderlands 4. So I just finished the Ripper Queen, section of the game, and basically of making the way over to the center of the city for the Timekeeper. So I did the Ridiculous Moon portion of the quest, which, Kevin, you have already completed, so you know exactly what happens. You probably were trying to just forget about that portion.
Maybe.
Yeah, I could do without the platforming. I mean, most of it was those what are those energy ramps or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad, but yeah.
If you haven't played Borderlands, the pre-sequel, it kind of gave me vibes of that, and I liked that because I enjoyed that game quite a bit. So it's imagine if you're playing Borderlands, but in zero gravity or close to it, with the oxygen kind of component. Des exactly knows what that is because I think we played that multiplayer and played that game quite a bit. So that whole section of Borderlands 4 is basically bringing back the pre-sequel vibes a little bit. So, I actually like that game a lot. So I don't know if I'd go back and play it, but I have more than enough with Borderlands 4 right now. So I'm kind of inching my way towards the end. I do want to get everything done, but I'm still trying to do 100% completion. So I am working everything up. Basically, all the side quests and everything was 100% right now so far. So I just got to work my way in and get to the end of the game, which I already saw when I finished the game with Kev. But hey, guess what? it's not the end of the journey; it's the route to get there. So. I also been playing some Diablo 4 with Dez mainly. Have been playing a little bit solo a little bit. So
Good.
me and Dez have basically been trying to get through the Vessel of Hatred DLC and the main storyline. And so basically when I play on my own, I'm like kind of doing side quests. I'm doing the mercenary quest, so on and so forth. There's a lot of content in that game. So yeah. What'd you say, Des?
No, I said there's a lot of content in that game, and the what you said, I was agreeing with that, and the mercenaries are all fun, and I did all that as well. So
yeah, so I mean, if you just wanted to play one game like Diablo, I mean, pretty much you could be satisfied with that. Sometimes, like you said before, Kev, with Diablo 3, it's like sometimes you could kind of zone out after a while. But the thing about my build with the particular character class I'm running right now is Spiritborn is that there's a lot of like mechanizations that you have to do. And so you kind of stay up and kind of time everything accordingly. So I'm like, basically, hitting L2, R2, R1, kind of timing everything, kind of going from there. So, because there is a rhythm to it. So,
Up it, twist it, take it.
yeah. Also been playing still some more Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, so still enjoying that. If you ever want to do some multiplayer polygonal, like, snow board madness on there, I would recommend the game on there. So, I've been doing a little solo runs on there, trying to beat my times and kind of go from there. I haven't tried the multiplayer yet, but I'm kind of looking forward to maybe dipping in. I don't know if I could play it with randos or not. I hope I can, because I don't think either of you two or none of my friends own this game or are planning to own it. So on that, so enjoyed it still. Also, I played another new game off on Steam called Demon Tide. So that is a sequel to the prior game. I forgot what it's called. It's called Demon Seed, I think, on there. So it's a platforming game, basically indie. It's by the same developers that basically did are working on a new Bubsy 4D game on there. So pretty much you just play as, imagine if you took like a modern like N64 like 3D platformer and bring it into like current gen times as far as that's concerned. But kind of with a wacky like art style and a wacky game of humor, sense of humor. You play this like little demon girl that can basically transform into a bat, and I haven't really. I played so far. I played 15 minutes of it, so I don't have a lot to say about it, but I'll talk about it more next show. So. And then last but not least, today I took some time to kind of check out the Steam Next Fest a little bit. So, if you're not familiar, basically Steam coordinates with a bunch of developers and they release a bunch of demos all at once. And you have the ability to be able to play all these games, but you're limited to, most of the games you're limited to the week that the Next Fest is going on. So I kind of sat down and I played some games. I first checked out this game called Replaced on here. This is a game that's going to be coming out. I know it's an Xbox Game Pass game, but it's very much like an Inside, or if you want to take it really old school, maybe Out of This World or Flashback. It has that kind of rotational type of graphics on there, but it's like a left and basically a game where you're going through 2D screens, going basically running to the right the whole time. But I love the style of it. I don't know if either of you two played Out of This World back in the day or Flashback, but it kind of has that same art style.
Yeah, I played it. I also saw gameplay of Replaced. It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
I never played it. I know of them and I've heard of them, but I've never played them, and I've seen them, but no.
I had Out of This World on the SNES.
Imagine if you had a little bit of out of this world flavor, but with a little extra gunplay and whatnot. That's basically Replaced. So there's certain portions of the game where you had to kind of hide because there was like a drone coming out for you, and then you had a field of view, so you had to make sure to kind of crawl between, not crawl, but jump, when the cone wasn't on you, as far as getting away from the field of view on there. So, and then there was a lot of the combat itself, you're not able to shoot your gun the entire time. You basically do melee, and you have the ability to be able to go ahead and avoid attacks if need be, like to do like a parry type move. And once you basically level up your gun, you're able to use your gun. It charges up your gun, and you're able to use it. So, and some of the they have execution like animations on some of them, especially if you're really close to an enemy on there, where you like pull the enemy by the hair and then shoot your enemy in the face, basically. So it was pretty cool to play. I actually completed the entire demo. I was playing on all these games. I was playing on the Steam Deck, but I was playing the Steam Deck docked on my living room TV, my 65-inch C1 OLED. So replaced was quite. I put it on my wish list, and I'm probably going to look to grab it once it comes out. So. Yeah, I know you're kind of eager to check it out too, Kev. I'm not sure if it's Xbox exclusive. Nowadays I don't think anything should be an Xbox exclusive.
It's on Game Pass, and
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to be bringing it to PlayStation, but I don't know when it launches, but depending on if it's available on PlayStation, I get it there. But if not, I'll probably get it on Steam. I don't have Steam on my retro mini PC, but I have it on the mini PC that I still have plugged into my TV. So
I checked right
that's
now.
really all I do it.
There's no PS5 version yet. It isn't a timed exclusive on Xbox. It's actually coming out March 12th, so it's actually coming out like literally within a week and a half from now. So, so we'll have to take a look to see as far as what the minimum specs are. It ran great on the Steam Deck. I went in and I just set it at 60 frames a second, and it was worked perfectly fine for me using the Steam Deck. So I'm thinking it might work well on your mini PC as well. So.
Yeah. It's like I'm not using this thing to run, Resident Evil 9 or anything like that.
I know.
I'm not. What? It's only for either retro or like little indie games that aren't coming to console.
Yeah. Now, I also played another demo. It's called Densha Attack. I don't know if you guys have seen this game before, but it's a game where you play a Japanese train. It's all crazy. It has like a cell shaded art style if need be. It kind of reminds me of like if you took Jet Set Radio and Ridge Racer and kind of mashed them between the two. So you're basically jumping between rails. You're taking a Japanese subway car or a train if need be, and you're like doing grinds on rails. You're flipping back and forth between different tracks. You're doing drifts around corners. And everything's like in that Jet Set Radio type cell shaded style. So, and I actually enjoyed playing that. I only played it for like about 20 minutes before I had to turn it off and jump on this show, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So I had a good time. I'll probably try to go back with it. I think that this is going to be like a time limited demo. So I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to be able to play it starting tomorrow morning, so we'll have to see, But yeah, it's available. It's going to come out for every platform, Steam, PS5, Xbox as well. So on there. But, if you check out the game, I definitely recommend it. It's just like kind of crazy to see the art style and everything that came about with that. So another game I played was a game called Oasis, and the Oasis is basically spelled AWAYSIS. So this is the new game from 17-bit. And if you don't know 17-bit, they did like a few games, including the Song in the Smoke, and I'm trying to think of the other game that they originally created. It was like a game on the PlayStation that wasn't exclusive. So, but regardless of that, basically this game is kind of a 4-player game inspired by Zelda Four Swords. But they went ahead and took that formula because it's a 4-player battling game where you could battle like against the other players, but you could there's PvE elements to it as well on there. So, and what I did with the little demo, I ran on Steam Deck, and I actually it wasn't optimized for Steam Deck at all on there. So Pretty much, I had to turn everything down and kind of tweak with the settings. I'm not even sure putting the settings on was running optimum. I did check the frame rate, and I was running at 60 frames a second. But the thing about this game is that they're taking like the Zelda Four Swords kind of formula and adding a lot of physics to it. So if you ever played a game like, I'm trying to think of that game, Grow Home on the PlayStation, Grow Up.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, Grow Home. Yeah, if you remember that, or like a game like Baby Steps or something like that, or Octodad, where you got a lot of physicality in the playfield. So what they're trying to do with that game is they're trying to add physicality, but still make it like seamless, like a Nintendo game, like a classic 8-bit, 16-bit game, if need be. So I was listening to an interview with one of the developers, and they described it basically as that they wanted to kind of tweak the formula a little bit, add the physicality and the physics to the gameplay, but still kind of maintain that old school 8-bit, 16-bit style on top of it. So that's what kind of made me kind of eager for the game to check it out. And I'm kind of looking forward to this game. It's just trying to just understand the gameplay mechanics in the demo. And, I want to maybe play it on a better PC or a better platform to be able to see as far as if I could tweak it properly. Unfortunately, with playing these demos all off the cuff earlier today, it's like I just kind of had to put what I felt the settings were and kind of go from there. So, and 17-bit, they also did, just to remember, if you remember, Kev, I think you played this game too. It's called Galaxy from back in the day, back on the PS4. So,
Yep.
Yeah. So they've done quite a few games. And the thing about Oasis and what I was eager to play is that they've kind of contracted out like the Chip Tanaka is doing the soundtrack for the game and contributing. So he's the original composer from Nintendo that did like Super Mario Brothers and all that. So he's actually contracted out to work on this game. So it's like kind of put it on my radar a little bit. So, and then the last demo I checked out, and I actually almost played in an hour. This is the new game from Inti Creates. It's called Kingdom's Return: Time Eating Fruit and the Ancient Monsters. So say that fast 3 times, yeah. But it's a very whimsical, like 16-bit, 8-bit, like kind of, if you know Inti Creates, it's in that same gameplay loop. So it's like an action RPG, but it also has some town building elements, but the town building elements are not that complex. It kind of reminds me of playing the town building elements in ActRaiser, if you remember that game, 16-bit era. But, it's, of course, Des knows Inti Creates. It's all crazy anime, like, you're basically partnering up with a fairy to be able to help this kingdom. And this is a fairy that basically is a time traveling fairy. And so, obviously in the game, you're like it's just a left to right, like dungeon crawler, but at the same time, they call them dungeons, but it's just like basically playing any basic RPG, moving left to right, right to left, and kind of battling creatures. It's very simple, but it's like very fun. I thought it was kind of a good palate cleanser. It's not like playing Dark Souls or Bloodborne or anything like that. The difficulty is not all that great, but it feels good as far as the control. And you're just basically going like hitting XXX to do a 3-hit combo. You're holding the RB button to be able to go ahead and block and do like kind of a reverse move. And you actually have 4 selectable characters too. So I started to play around with a couple of the character archetypes, and I'm buying this game once it comes out. And I'll probably
a lot of those Inti Create games are pretty good. So
yeah. So, but that was my little my toe dipped into the Steam Next Fest. So, I need to get a little bit more time with, playing other platforms besides playing like Borderlands and Diablo all the damn time. So kind of good to kind of take a little vacation from my usual stuff. So.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Des, what you been up to, man?
not as much as Joe over here. Joe out here, trying to win awards and stuff.
Actually playing games.
I know, you love to see it.
Yeah. I wish I could do that.
I know, right? No, I mean, I really haven't been playing too much of anything. Been playing Diablo, for with Joe. He is my go-to gaming buddy. So we basically play that every now and again, and it's fun. I do like the pace that we're at. We've gotten to the Paragon board, meaning we have leveled up as far as we can go, and now we're just doing incremental level ups with our characters and stuff like that. So what we could definitely do is start doing like the nightmare dungeons and stuff like that, because you're able to get so many of them, or the keys to open them, because we do a lot of the world bosses and stuff like that, weekly world bosses, and so we're definitely getting gear and being able to attack those higher levels. We just haven't done it yet. So, and then also going through the Vessel of Hatred type stuff, we really need to kind of finish doing that as well. But I'm really having a lot of fun, hanging out and playing with Joe and stuff like that. And it's a really good, just sort of like hey, we're just gonna hang around and do stuff together, and it's really fun just to kind of sit around and do that. But yeah, I think once we finish the that campaign and we figure out what's going on, it'll lead us into the Lords of Hate, campaign. So
Lords of Hatred, yeah.
Lords of Hatred. So I'm definitely looking for that, looking forward to that as well, and then playing the new Warlock, and seeing what goes like that, and then seeing what the upgrades and the changes they're going to be making to the classes. So. But yeah, Diablo still has life in it, and I'm really enjoying it. The other game I've been playing is, my game right now is Avowed. Game is fun. Haven't played a classic RPG like this in a very long time. It definitely is giving me Elder Scrolls type vibes a little bit, but having that Obsidian kind of feel to it. So I've just been really enjoying it. I think the pace is fun, the magic is fun, the combat is fluid. I don't know why people just didn't resonate with the game. I think the reason why people didn't resonate with the game because it wasn't done yet. I really believe that the folks that played it on Xbox, that was a beta test, and I don't like that for the Xbox folks, but I really believe that that's what happened, because it seems like this version is just so much more polished than it was before. And it just feels better, and part of me feels that maybe it was Xbox powers that be were saying, hey, you got to get some stuff out because you gotta earn money this quarter, so get this out. And they're like, okay, and they got it out as best as they could, and then they just quietly in the background were doing fixes and whatnot. And I hate to say this, but it's probably what's going to happen to a lot of these studios nowadays when you really think about it, is they're going to... I mean, I just think about what happened to, Cyberpunk 2027. That was put out and it was garbage. And then they just, slowly after time, it's a fantastic game now. And it's just like, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of games being done like this. And I really hope that that's not the case. But I really feel like that's where they're going. You just kind of limp to the finish line, throw it out there, and we will fix it in post. And I think, given the landscape, that might be what's coming. I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but that's kind of what I feel sometimes, just given what's happening. And so, I'm thinking with
Xbox, it's just the point that because of the fact that they don't have a strong retail presence and people buying games, that they're more inclined to put games out there and kind of let it kind of cook after the release, because if you're consuming it on Game Pass, you have no, it's not, most publishers, they're not going to release a game half baked, because of the fact that it's going to bomb or not get enough sales at the beginning of it. So, but with Game Pass, you don't really have to worry about that, unfortunately.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you can put it on Game Pass, let it cook, and then fix it, and then send it out. So, but we'll see. The other game that I've been playing is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Joe got it for me on a discount for about $20. I know now it's like $11 or something, but I was that?
Oh, I just laughed. That's all.
Oh, you're chuckling at me for how bad. Oh
No,
my
it's
god.
just
I go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, it's always a thing. You know, you always have to run the gambit to be able to. Am I going to pick this game up for this price? Is it going to go back up, or is it going to get eventually get cheaper? It usually always gets cheaper. So
Always gets cheaper, but yeah, I think $20 is the price for this game. I probably would have like if they'd have released this at like 39.99, I probably would have bought it. I think the game is fine. I think people were really in their expectations were high, given Bloodlines 1. They expected this to be more akin to that, and I never played Bloodlines 1, or Bloodlines first one, so I don't have any like loyalty to that game or anything like that. So I'm able to look at this game on its own merit, and I think the game is fine. It's not. I like Vampire the Masquerade. I played the RPG when I was in high school, so I'm familiar with the lore, and so from a lore standpoint, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story. Combat, it's okay. It's a little one note. I've only gotten a couple of the powers for it, but for what it is, I'm actually enjoying my time with it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a very long game. I think it's about maybe 15 hours. I can't imagine, there being any replay for it. And I do know they're coming out with a DLC, and you're playing as a detective. I can't remember his name. It's off the top of my head, but you play as him now. So that should be interesting. But so far, I'm enjoying my time with it. It's not super hard. And the storyline so far is really kind of interesting. So I don't know. Again, your mileage may vary with it, but I'm enjoying it, and so I thought it was money well spent. So will I finish it? I don't know. Again, I like Vampire the Masquerade, so it's that I'm definitely the target audience for it. So I was excited for it. So I'm sorry to the people who are expecting something else, but it's not terrible. So I'm just saying it's not like game of the year material, not at all. Far from it, but it's a good little entertaining game, and I'm enjoying what's going on so far. So we'll keep it pushing. No harm in that. So, Kev, what have you been playing, buddy?
So for the most part, a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, I hate to hear it.
As far as I've been doing some Helldivers 2, trying to get, because I'd been away from that game for a while, and my mojo is not quite back with that game yet. It's like I'm still on suicide mission. I kind of want to dial it down a little bit so I can earn some credit, so I can get the rest of, get a couple more items on my war bond list that I want to, the war bonds list, because I buy everyone. So I'm probably going to wind up dialing down, but been playing about 2 weeks ago, I sat down for about an hour and a half, probably it was a little more than 2 hours, and I played Ghost of Yotei because I've been wanting to get back into that game, and I finished off another member of the Yotai 6, and I don't know, man. It's like if you can like disregard the rhetoric that's going around with that game and this ridiculous culture war nonsense, it's fantastic. It is literally one of the best playing 3D action adventure games you're going to run across. The sword play is actually Ghost of Tsushima elevated. They on its face, it feels like they took elements away from Jin's combat away, but those elements remain in the form of different weapons that you can utilize. I was able to acquire the, what do they call that thing? It's the Ogami. Basically, when you think of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, that's the sword he uses. It's this big old long, slightly curved katana blade,
Like
and
a Dachi.
the Ogami is so dope to use because, like, for heavy enemies, I was using the spear, and the spear is very effective against large enemies and folks with using a sword and shield or any kind of shield, spear and shield, sword and shield, all that good stuff. But what I like about the Ogami, which is probably what I'm going to be using to take down large opponents or just about anybody I feel like fighting with it right now, is that it has an offensive parry, which is basically if you hold down the triangle button and you push in the direction of your opponent, you will break their guard by smacking them with the hilt of this huge ass blade. Watching Etsu use a sword that's pretty much taller than she is and weighs a hell of a lot. I mean, they went in so far as creating a whole set of animations for her to use because the sword is really too big for her to handle. I don't know. The animation on her, on Etsu using the Ogami is just it's almost funny because you see this. I mean, she's no waif, but she ain't She-Hulk either. And she is like like when she does a swing, it's like she's almost losing her foot balance. But I tell you, some of the best sword play you're going to find in any game is in Ghost of Yote. So that was a couple of weeks ago. This week, I played some Mario Tennis Fever. Fantastic game. I talked about this game a couple episodes before. Right now, my goal is to try to unlock all the rackets and unlock all the playable characters. And I think I might actually try playing this game online since I've been watching some videos of it, and the online looks like a lot of fun. There's even more depth to the gameplay than I thought. And it's not even with regard to the fever rackets. It's also regard to the strength of each character. I think I mentioned this before. Like some characters do curve shots really good. Some have power shots they can do really good. And there's even more variation as you unlock certain characters. Some of them have different combinations when you pair them with particular fever rackets. So there's a lot there. But as far as an arcadey tennis game, Mario Tennis Fever is just a hell of a lot of fun. And like I said, if I would have had a Switch 2 by the time this game came out, I would have bought the system to play this game. I feel it's that good. Outside of gaming, I've been still watching my anime. I usually do that. Sometimes I do it when I'm working on my side hustle. I don't know why I do it because I watch my anime subtitled, and I don't understand Japanese, so I just kind of have it on. It's just like background noise sometimes, which doesn't make any sense because I don't know what's actually taking place. But been watching more of May I Ask One Last Thing. That show continues to entertain. They have added kind of a reverse isekai element to the show that they kind of allude to in the early parts. of the series, but it's shaping up to be kind of interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I'm hoping that there's additional seasons of this because uh, may I ask one last thing? It's funny. The combat or the battle scenes are well choreographed and very well animated, and it doesn't ask too much of you. I'll just
That's
say
good.
that, and it's really cool. Just to seeing this noble woman beating the crap out of these out of various other nobles and ne'er do wells with superpowers, and it's just a lot of fun. And I also started watching another one. This is on Crunchyroll as well as Netflix. It's called Hell's Paradise. So basically, and this takes place during the era of the Shogun. Takes place in Japan. There is this ninja, and he's got a long name, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But basically, he is like the strongest ninja assassin in his village. He's dang near through training. He's made his body dang near like undestroyable. You can burn him. He can survive burns. He can blades break when you try to cut him. It's like he's basically like
That bockiness in him.
not really Baki, but I would say if Ultra Instinct Goku was a ninja, that's probably what he is.
Oh, okay.
So
Damn.
so anyway, he gets betrayed. His
As you do.
yeah, the village chief betrays him, and there's like they have this whole backstory that's just tragic. And he is basically accused of crimes and sent to the basically the equivalent of the shogun's deputy for execution. Well, since he can't really be killed, he's just like going through all these different executions, like uh like okay, well, cut his head off. Well, the executioner's blade shatters when he tries to decapitate him. It's like okay, well that didn't work. um Burn him at the stake. Yeah, that'll do it. So they tie him up, and he's letting this happen to him because he kind of wants to die, because he feels guilty for the lives he's taken for the village elder that he thought cared for him but really didn't. And yeah, so they try to burn him at the stake. Well, that doesn't work. I mean, it's like his I guess he has cellular regeneration, and it's like his body reforms faster than it's being burned, which is crazy. And he apparently feels no pain in any of this either.
Damn.
So like, okay, that didn't work. So the sheriff is like, he's losing his mind. He's like, okay, let's cut it. Let's draw and quarter him. Yeah. So they get these two bulls, and they attach one bull to the left leg, another bull to the right leg, and then they set the harnesses that they're wearing on fire to make them run in opposite directions. That doesn't work because they're not strong enough to pull his legs apart.
Oh.
So they basically kind of like the bulls actually almost choke because his legs are so strong that the harnesses that they have on them as they try to run, because they're on fire, it's choking them, so they had to stop that. And so this whole thing culminates with the shogun sending emissaries from this particular clan, and this particular clan are known for like their swordsmanship. Like it's like whenever their name is mentioned, it's like whatever you're doing, it's like, well, it's a good idea. You better stop because it's like this. It's known they're literal sword masters. They're like they call them sword testers. That whole story is tragic too because when you're born into this clan or you are drafted into it, it's like you're either going to be like a weapons master or you're going to study medicine, but the type of medicine that they study has to do with like herbs and remedies that have human cadavers as the source element. So it's not a good it's not good. So it's like if you get drafted into it, it's like, well, you want to be a sword master, but then when you're a sword master, you're literally testing out the quality of swords on people. And the people are usually condemned criminals, but you are just drilled and drilled and drilled with mastering the blade to the level where you can tell how long like a blade will last in combat. It's like, anyway, whole bunch of stuff with regard to this clan. So what winds up happening, why they call this Hell's Paradise, is there is a lore of an island somewhere, in the in somewhere in the ocean, and they say where it is and in relation to Japan, but I can't remember what they said. But anyway, this island is supposed to host the Japanese version of the Fountain of Youth. So the shogun sends an emissary there. He sends like 12 people. First group, the first 6 went. They never came back. So I guess he's thinking, well, they probably found it and kept it for themselves. So I need to send another group of people to find out what happened to them. If they find them, kill them, but bring me back that elixir of life. Well, that group goes out and only one comes back, but he comes back looking like, and I can't remember the name of the game, but it's that Capcom game where it was like one part third person action, one part like real-time strategy, and all the enemies were like flowers, like kind of weird variation of like twisted flora.
Scarlet Nexus?
No, it's a Capcom game.
Yeah, that was not Capcom.
Yeah, I can't. And like dancing was, you had to dance in order to do certain things. They had a demo for it. I didn't particularly care for it, but basically that's what happens to you when you go to this island, and the person that came back basically was like his body was sprouted these flowers, and he's basically dead. So he's more like a floral zombie. And he comes back, it's like half of his body is missing, the other half is like literal flowers that he can't walk or move, and he's just mumbling some nonsense. He's got eyes sprouting out of his, flowers sprout out of his eyes, ears. I mean, it's growth.
Sounds
the
bad.
Artistry is really dope, but it's gross as hell. But in a beautiful way because it's flowers. I mean, the flowers look like regular flowers, but you're all messed up. So the shogun decides he wants to get the top, like the top 5 skilled condemned criminals and send them to the island to retrieve the elixir, because like, okay, well, the first group didn't betray me. They must have got killed. This guy comes back. He's the only one that comes back, and he's all jacked up. So basically that ninja gets drafted into this mission to go and retrieve the elixir of life. And it's like the people that he is teamed up with, you kind of find out that he wants to, the only reason he's really doing it and the reason why he can't be killed, aside from all this ninjutsu training that he underwent, is because he became like more human when he married the village elder's daughter. And because he kind of thought, well, I just have to do this because I want to be, the elder finds me valuable, and, we're going to solidify the future of the village and future assassins with this marriage. But he starts actually loving her because of the kindness that she shows him. And that's why his ninjutsu kind of kicks in when something's happening to him, because he, on a subconscious level, doesn't want to lose his wife. So the premise is that each criminal gets teamed up with an emissary from that Swordmaster clan as kind of like their proctor. They're going to go to the island, retrieve, but only one person can get the elixir. But even if you get the elixir and your proctor is not with you, you can't come back. So you're going to be stuck on that island. So basically the proctors are there to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do, but the proctors are really tough. So, I think the idea is that ain't nobody getting off the island. The person who gets the elixir brings it back, and this proctor's gonna kill him, and then the proctor will just take it back to the shogun. I think that's how it's going to work. But they're all kind of backstabbing each other on the way to the island because they already had a death match, because there was something like 15 or 20 people that were drafted. The shogun said, well, I only got 10 emissaries, so you guys are going to have a death match, and down to the last 10. The last 10 of you are going to be the ones that are going to go. So they had everybody fight to the death just to see who's going to go on this ride, take the trip to the island. And it was just like, it's one of those animes where there really isn't a good guy, because everybody is just different levels of shady. Like, the proctors are like, the only one who's actually trying to be a good person is the ninja's proctor. She's like the only blade master who's a female from this clan. And she's like, well, I got to do things by the book. And the book says that you can't have a weapon, and you can't have this, and you got to do it that way. And all the other proctors are just like, I don't care. It's like, I already know I can kill the person I'm supposed to supervise anyway. So I don't really care what they do on the island as long as I get the elixir. So everybody's basically backstabbing everybody. And the only one who's trying to play by the quote unquote rules is the proctor of the ninja. And there is like a growing like friendship between the two that is in the face of all this nonsense that's going on. By the way, the monsters on the island are nightmare fuel. It's some of the weirdest monster designs I've seen in an anime, like, since, what was that one that I saw that was like Blue Gem, which is like a really funky series I saw that came out back in the 90s. It has some really weird designs. It's like if you could mix like who was that dude did like the Chaos Monsters from kind of like the where you get Cthulhu and all that other stuff. Whatever that guy's name, I can't remember his name, but if you can mix Lovecraft with Flora, that's kind of like what some of this stuff looks like. And it is just, they pull no punches when it comes to the death scenes. Yeah,
Gross.
it's really good. It's definitely a show enough type of show. Um, so I've just kind of been enjoying that, but that's really all I've been up to the past couple of weeks. Not a whole lot of gaming, but just kind of watching a couple of shows, and that's pretty much it. So with the playlist complete, we're going to move on to our second topic on the docket. And we got the Jabroni Gaming News Report coming at you. All right, Jabroni Chief, you got the mic, my friend.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Indeed.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is all this major drama for the last 2 weeks. We had lots of news to chew on. So the first thing I want to talk about, Sony did shut down Bluepoint, one of their gaming studios. They acquired the studio back in 2021, but basically they shut them down. So they shut them down. They announced that basically that they're going to shutter in March, and they have around 70 employees. Bluepoint itself, I mean, they've had a history of doing a lot of remasters, previous to being bought by Sony. I know they worked on Shadow of the Colossus. They also were in the development of Demon Souls. They got Demon Souls out for PS5, and then they got bought out during that whole splurge of both Sony and Microsoft buying studios left and right after COVID on here. But from what Bluepoint was doing, they basically was working support on God of War Ragnarok, which released in 2022, and then during the Jim Ryan era at PlayStation, they had to pitch a new game, and they wanted to actually do a new game on their own. But they had to pitch because the flavor of the day happens to be those live service, those gas games on here. So they proposed, and we're working on a God of War gas game, which ultimately, after years and years of development, got canceled in 2025. And so after that, they were kind of trying to spitball what they were going to do moving forward on there. I know that they were, from a Jason Schreier report on Bloomberg, basically that they were proposing to do a Bloodborne remake, which everyone would want to see. I mean, that's what the internet has been clamoring for, but
Quite a while.
yeah, but basically Miyazaki and From Software did not give their blessing with the Bloodborne remake that was proposed by Bluepoint, so that became just pretty much dead in the dirt. And who knows the back and forth between, of course, Sony management and Bluepoint, but basically they said after a quote-unquote business review that they were shuttering the studio. So a lot of people were pretty upset because Bluepoint was part of the more premium studios that PlayStation acquired. It's not as storied as say Naughty Dog or Insomniac, mind you, but they could have tried to find something for them to do, and unfortunately sticking them on a gas game for a few years. If they actually wanted to create a new game, let them, why clip their wings? Let them soar. Give them an opportunity, to be able to do that. But it doesn't make quote unquote business sense. So a lot of PlayStation fans are a little upset. This is just yet again another casualty in the gas initiative that PlayStation pushed forward back in 2022 when Jim Ryan was at the helm. And I'm sure Herman Hulst is not exactly great either as far as studio management or whatnot.
He did do Concord. He did try to get Concord through.
Yeah.
So it's kind of continuing the same, continuing what Jim Ryan started in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know from people talked about Concord being like Jim Ryan, but Shuhei Yoshida was there and was the one that kind of approved Concord as well. So I mean, it's just it's just a sad point that they had to shut down the studio without them even publishing or working on anything since they were acquired back in 2021. It's just ridiculous in a way. So a lot of people were just adamant about it. I know one person online said this is as bad as the Hi-Fi Rush studio getting shut down. within Bethesda on there. So after that game came out, and so they're kind of trying to draw up like parallels between that closing of that studio and Blue Point being shut down. But I'll kick it over to you, Kev. What do you think about all this business?
So it's one of those things where there's like factors that are just not known. Was the game that they were working on, did PlayStation feel that it was good enough? That is possible. We know that projects get rejected because when Ragnarok was initially pitched, PlayStation said no, you're going to have to redo it.
Yeah.
No, it was either Ragnarok or 2018. I can't remember which one it was. It might no, you know what? Now I think about it, I think it was 2018.
Yeah,
it was 2018 because Santa Monica Studios had an idea to move God of War in a particular direction, and they said, "Nah, you're going to have to do better than that." So, was it the situation where the product or the game that they wanted to do was denied? We don't know. And, we also have to understand that egos are always at play, just like with any type of creative work. You see it in the movies, in the movie industry. I'm sure you see it in comics if you're plugged into that. Folks are like, what do you mean you don't want to do my game?
Yep.
In situations like that, folks are going to walk, or folks are not going to be inclined to do what you want them to do. And creatives are may even be looking for other opportunities, and maybe that was apparent that they were like, yeah, we ain't really feeling whatever else you have on the clock for us. So maybe PlayStation saw it. It's like, well, we'll cut you before you bail type of situation, because there's only 60, 70 people in that studio. So you would think that the cost to run a studio that size is pretty negligible in comparison to like Santa Monica or Naughty Dog, I would just assume.
Yeah.
Number 3 is at the end of the day, you still kind of have to put the the buck still stops at management, at PlayStation management, because to me, let's say that they pitched their original idea and it was garbage, or PlayStation thought it was garbage. Okay, fine. You put them on this God of War gas game, and God of War and gas just don't go together. It's like mixing oil and water. It's like, what are you trying to do here? All right, so you had them. That's 2-3 years wasted. Okay, fine. The PlayStation legacy is rich with IPs that folks would love to see come back. You've got a studio that runs on a crew of 60 to 70 people. You give them a low budget, and you give them a PlayStation classic to bring back, modernize it. You don't even have to. You don't have to make it a sequel, because some of these have been out of circulation or are out of the limelight for so long. A lot of people, particularly, it's like if it's something that debuted on PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1, hell, even PlayStation 3 for that matter. A lot of your customers, particularly if they're new to the PlayStation brand, may not even be familiar with it. Let's say, like, okay, here's what I would have done. It's like, okay, so the thing you pitched to us was trash. We put you on this gas thing. That was our bad. We're chasing that games as a service dollar. Why don't you breathe some new life into Infamous? Like Infamous 1, Infamous 2. You could call it a trilogy. I don't know if you want to go that far. I don't know if a project like that would take that long. I'd probably just start off at Infamous 1, remake, test the waters like that, small development team, small budget, a focused open world, but kind of like a smaller in scope world, because but they were packed with so many things to do. Particularly Infamous 2. Infamous 1 was great, but Infamous 2 just felt like, I mean, you were just never bored. There was always something different to do.
100% agree.
It's like, okay, breathe some new life into that. Folks been talking about Jack and Daxter. You could have had them working on that. It like literally any IP from any of the legacy studios under SIE, you could have given them one project after another, after another, after another, small budget, focused team, and they would just work on one remake after another. Now, as a creative, they have to ask themselves, is this what we want to do? We have our own ideas. We have our own concepts that we would like to see brought to light. Could it be that the people that made Blue Point function at a level that made Demon Souls remake that launched with the PlayStation 5, that game was a system seller, in my opinion. And I'm not even really into Souls like that. But the quality in that remake was so high that people went out and bought and wanted the console just for that Demon Souls remake. Are those people going to want to stick around and just be known as the remake people? We'll probably never know the answer to that in full. So I kind of feel that it could have been I want to do this, you want me to do that, I'm not with it. So maybe there was talk of folks leaving. And if they were going to leave, that's kind of like telling your boss that I don't like the way you do things, and saying, oh, by the way, I need you to give me a letter of recommendation as you've had this disagreement. It's okay. So you're looking for other places to work. I don't know that happened, but it could have. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, you could if those people leave, you can hire new people to do that and just let people know up front, hey, you're going to have the opportunity to bring some legacy IPs back to life from the PlayStation brand. Are folks coming out of school, folks coming out of, learning how to develop games. This could be a great way for them to get their feet wet in the industry because they're not being put on some 300-hour open world, massively online RPG, buy all this stuff so we can make money type of project. They would be learning or getting their feet wet on games that are smaller in scope, wouldn't cost that much to make, and have this storied history. So I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's messed up. I think what we do know is that PlayStation dropped the ball with letting this studio go for sure. But could the studio have not wanted to go along with the program with discussions behind closed doors? We don't know. And you can even say the same thing for the Miyazaki situation. For what was that? What was that game that was
Bloodborne?
I'm saying the wrong name. The guy that did there was that game with you were the dude with the guitar and it was beat 'em up.
Oh,
and
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. We don't know what that situation is like, but given Microsoft's history with shutting it down so quick, I think everybody was quick to assume the worst. But that situation could have also been at play with that studio. Maybe they were like, hey, we want to do these other things, and Microsoft was like, no, we kind of want you to focus on games like this where you can we can shadow drop it and it could be a great asset to Game Pass. And maybe they had some more grandeur or more grand ideas. And if he was told no as a creative, he's like, well, I want to bring my visions to life. Obviously, I can't do it here. So we don't know. So there's like a lot of unknowns here.
Yeah, the studio that developed Hi-Fi Rush's Tango Gameworks, that was basically the studio that Shinji Mikami, previously of Capcom, they released like Evil Within 1 and 2. Yeah. They kind of got out of their like Ghostwire Tokyo, out of their horror wannabe like Resident Evil type games, and did Hi-Fi Rush. And obviously after that, I believe that the Shinji Mikami left Tango Gameworks, and so they were kind of wondering what they were going to do as a studio, and Microsoft decided to just pull the plug. Now, Jason Schreier did talk a little bit more about what happened with Blue Point. He got kind of the deets a little bit. They said, I guess, the God of War game, the live service game that they were working on, had a premise where Atreus would fall back into Hades, and basically Atreus would battle through Greek hell and have some cooperative gameplay in the mix with that, playing multiple versions of Atreus on there. So obviously,
that sounds terrible, actually.
Yeah. So after that concept got canceled, the game development got canceled, they had a pitch for Bloodborne. And of course, Bloodborne, like I stated, basically From Software and Miyazaki basically said that he doesn't want anyone else touching it. That when he wants to remake Bloodborne or do more with Bloodborne, he wants to be the one to do it. So after that got rejected, Blue Point basically pitched a updated version of Shadow of the Colossus, the game they made back in 2018 for PS4, but Sony turned that down. So, and then they also proposed, it says right there, they pitched other PlayStation studios on developing new projects and other franchises. They proposed a spin-off of Ghost of Tsushima, but basically nothing was greenlit at that point. Jason Schreier did make a point that said that a lot of these studios, they're facing a lot of financial pressure, and they didn't want to like dedicate resources to like work with Blue Point on their particular IP to be able to get them to create a new project. So that's basically the ins and outs with this.
And that's the part that is still kind of puzzling. That's kind of puzzling me. Number one, it's like, okay, so Ghost of Yote just dropped. Why are you trying to do a Tsushima offshoot? That seems a little too much. Like what would you call like overexposure? It's like, and to me, I don't understand why PlayStation management wouldn't just step to them and say, okay, look, they've got all this data. Fans are constantly saying, where's my whatever? We already talked about that. These are the top 5 games that folks have requested from games in this console family's legacy. All right. Which one of these 5 would you like to be your first project? It's like, why? It would seem to me like I would be going to them and saying, hey, we want you to be our remake crew. And it's like, literally, you guys have guaranteed work for as long as you want to be in the business, because there are so many. I mean, Nintendo probably has more, but there is just a crap ton of legacy games that fall under the SIE umbrella. Now, granted, there's a whole lot more that only released on PlayStation or PlayStation 2 that are from studios that are outside of SIE, but let's start with the ones that we can do that are in-house first, right? To me, it's just that's just like a missed opportunity. And again, the budget for those projects would be minuscule in comparison to what their flagship studios spend bringing a project to life. So that's the part that's just kind of boggling my mind with this. It's like if they're pitching this, they're pitching that. studios don't want it. Now, is it a matter of, you know, again, coming back to ego, if you go to Naughty Dog and say, "Hey, I would really like to do another Jack and Daxter," Blue folks want to see another Jack and Daxter. Blue Point's gonna run take the helm. Are they thinking, what do you mean? That's my baby. You can't do that. You know, I don't know if egos are that big in the development world where you can't even let somebody remake your work. It's like your work, your original work stands on its own. That's why I think David Jaffe crashing out on God of War 2018 was just so silly. It's like your original work stands on its own. Those God of War games, those first three, and I even like the one that everybody hated. The one I forget.
Are you talking about Ascension?
Ascension. Yeah, I even liked Ascension. I don't think Jaffe was involved with Ascension. I
No,
think
that was Ready by Dawn. That was was Ready by Dawn. That was the same team that did The Order
1886. Okay.
Yeah.
But Jaffe's original work stands on its own. Again, are you going to throw? Are these developers that conceited that they don't even want anybody, even if it's in in the SIE family, dedicated to bringing those old IPs back to life, having any kind of hand in it? I don't know. It just seems like mismanagement from the higher ups, and it just seems like an opportunity that's just been missed to me.
Yeah, according to Jason Schreier, they said that other companies were making phone calls to see if there might be a way to salvage the studio elsewhere. So, like, other companies are looking to maybe bring Blue Point in whole entirely over to them and be able to hire them to basically just work on other games for them. So we'll have to see because they said that their expertise is respected across the industry, because like Demon's Souls got a 92 on Metacritic. I mean, you got to consider the kind of kudos that they have as a studio. So
yeah, I mean, this could be maybe PlayStation's Bungie. You know, Bungie wanted to do Destiny. Microsoft was like, "Nah, we want you to stick with Halo." And history. we see how that happened. What happened with regards to that? Maybe this could be PlayStation's Halo, I guess, for lack of a better, more missed opportunity, where you could have had these people working on something, and they go someplace else, whether they're bringing a third-party legacy IP back to life, or are allowed to breathe new life into their original project, and it could turn out to be one of the biggest things since sliced bread, and y'all could have had that in-house, and you let that opportunity slip away. So it's funky.
Yeah. Des, any thoughts on this? I mean, I know you're all in the background going, yeah, all that stuff.
Well, I think Kevin hit it right on the head. I think this is one of those things where they're trying to circle the wagons. I personally think this is all part of what's going on with the change in everything costing more. Chips going up and all this other stuff. Also, one thing that I don't relish the thought is, a lot of this stuff, if you're going to be doing up-reses and remasters, I think maybe some people are thinking that AI could do that stuff. By making stuff look better and running algorithms or something that can, upscale stuff. So I'm more concerned that it might be a look into the future of gaming, if you can just use a computer to up-res or upgrade or, do this stuff instead of people. And I really hope that that's not one of the reasons that this is happening. We're going to get rid of a studio that is known for doing remasters, and then you think about, well, could you have a computer, or an algorithm or something like that do those remasters for you? But honestly, I think it's more so reaction to to costing. The cost to produce games is going up, and they figured this gas game is not going well. We had you doing gas games. We have nothing else to do for you. Let's just cut bait and run. And I think they were just unfortunately one of the things that just got kind of let go. And I really hope that this is not going to become a more common trend.
Yeah, my concern with the current SIE management basically and everything is that just like Microsoft years and years ago, basically Halo, Forza, and Gears basically, and so I'm thinking now it's like, okay, God of War, Horizon, and like Marvel franchise.
Well,
as far as they're not wanting to kind of get off what they know sells, and like things are kind of getting stagnant in my opinion. It's like they've kind of lost their little bit of creative edge, but you could see where we want a God of War TV show, we want a Horizon movie, and
that's diversification though. I think they're trying to diversify.
Yeah. They need to like go back and maybe work on some smaller studios putting out like AA games and kind of being a little bit more creative and kind of diversify their library a little bit, So, but
well, they don't really have to. That's what
third party does.
Yeah, third party's doing that for them.
Yeah.
It's like, why have our studios that we want to make the big banger, the big, big collar, shot collar, big daddy pump type games? They can still do that because we have all these other deals and projects going on that are bringing their content to PlayStation, if not in conjunction with PC, with only coming to that console. So, it's there's no more need for them to take risks with their pillar studios anymore. They're just going to go with what works. They're going to go with what works because that field is being covered by so many second party deals. Some deals are just exclusive by default because of the situation that Microsoft has put Xbox in. It's like let's go with the formula that we know is going to make us money, and everything else is going to take. Everything else is just is being handled by a whole other massive group of developers over here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Xbox, there's a huge Xbox shakeup since our last recording. So Phil Spencer, all of a sudden, out of the blue, went ahead and retired. He basically said, "I'm out." Even though I know he said that he talked to Satya and basically said that he was thinking about retiring, kind of was a little bit, kind of sudden. I think most people that retire pretty much have the opportunity to be able to sunset a little bit publicly and to be able to go to different third-party developers and so on and so forth and kind of bridge the gap and work with your, incoming management if need be. But no, he's
I thought he is. No,
he's out.
I thought he was going to be there for a while before he left.
No, he is gone as of this past week. So he's gone.
Monday was his last day.
Oh wow! Oh. Originally, I had read somewhere that he was going to be there, for a couple of months in order to help people help transition.
That's HR speak, bro. That's HR speak.
There you go.
That's corpo speak. He's Audi 5000.
Yeah,
he ain't helping nobody with nothing.
And on top of all this, Sarah Bond, the heir apparent, the president of Xbox, is also leaving Microsoft as well. She's resigning. Whether that's resigning of her own choosing or the fact that she didn't get selected for the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming. There hasn't been a lot of talk about Sarah Bond and what she has to bring to the table. They weren't giving any farewell parties for her, like at Microsoft Studios headquarters and that kind of thing. Like we did see with Phil Spencer on Monday on there. So We'll have to, see after the dust settles whether, her story gets out or whether it's something to where we'll just never know as far as what happened. And what's sad about all this too is that you could see all the like hit pieces in the media. Like I know The Verge had a article this past Monday basically blaming Sarah Bond for a lot of the last few years of Xbox, the Play Anywhere initiative, the This is an Xbox campaign. They were trying to pin it basically like almost 100% on Sarah Bond. And that, someone like that is not going to be the one steering the ship, even though she's prominent in the company, if need be. I think me and Kev were talking about like earlier this week. They called it like glass shelving. That once they know like a division or a corporation might be failing, they're going to put a minority in charge.
Yeah,
so they can
that's
blame
actually
them.
a thing. That's actually.
Yeah,
I only learned about that recently when this happened. Some
Yeah.
folks were talking about it.
So, to me, this is not unexpected. I mean, Microsoft, in a way, their direction in the last few years, we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast as far as how we're disappointed with Xbox. We're continuing to be disappointed with Xbox. There's a lot of articles out there. Like, Jez Corden of Windows Central, basically just I would hate to say it's like he's like giving fellatio to the Xbox management and
Wow.
telling that like Phil Spencer is the man who saved Xbox from the Xbox One era. No, he did not save Xbox at all. He did not. He continued the obviously fumbles and bumbles. You got Game Pass, you got Series. Consoles being announced with like no major first party titles coming out for it. A lot of people getting confused with the Series S being kind of
How
God
dare
forbid
you
that
Uncle Phil like that.
the potato. So
I'm gonna watch.
I'm talking about Jez Corden and the media. Basically the fanboy worship at a few media outlets, including The Verge and Tom Warren and Jez Corden and Windows Central. It's just kind of dumb.
Yeah, but Tom Warren's article was atrocious. It was absolutely. I didn't read it. Well, number one, because I would have had to join the Verge in order to read it. So I read it through somebody else posted it on X. So I read it. I kind of read it there. This was like. And this is what's so messed up. It's like, and shout out to Reforged Gaming. He did like a time recap of when these changes in Xbox came along and when Sarah Bond joined the team. They were on this Game Pass, Play Anywhere, day and date on PC, everything is an Xbox. They were on this ish a whole 2.5, almost 3 years before Sarah Bond joined the team. What Sarah Bond did was like strip the Band-Aid off the gaping wound and say, if this is the direction that you're taking the console, let's just take the console in this direction. Let's just be straightforward with it, type of deal. And let's be honest, the decision that Phil made for Game Pass was a bad one. But all of this stuff really started going downhill when Satya and Amy Hood started making the decisions for Xbox by way of Microsoft. That's when the ship was the iceberg. When Phil was running the show, the iceberg had already been hit, right? Satya and Amy Hood just set explosives in the hole. That's literally all they did, and just said, let's just do it. And then you bring in Sarah Bond, this intelligent young black woman, give and make her the face of your bullshit. And then, of course, because we're in this DEI nonsense. If you got a vagina or any degree of melanin, you're a DEI hire in this current environment that we find ourselves in. You put her in charge of, and that's something else. During the course of, you have already spent $70 billion to acquire Activision, who was bringing games to your platform anyway. Why are you spending? That's like, hey man, I'm renting books from the library. You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy those books. Well, you're getting the books from the library already, right? Those games were coming to the Xbox day and date already. You go ahead and you spend $70 billion freaking dollars to bring games to your platform that were already coming. So you're already in the hole now, big time. Yeah. And Microsoft is knocking on your door and saying, hey, where's my money? Where's my return on investment? Well, it's going to take long. It's going to take time. We got to do this. We got to do that. Let's not forget it was Phil Spencer that pushed to bring this last Call of Duty into Game Pass. And the amount of income lost is still being tallied. I mean, Sarah didn't do that. That was Phil.
They both got pushed out the door. You got to consider that.
Oh, they were both fired. They were both fired. They were both fired. And Sarah, even if Sarah wasn't fired, she's like, okay, so the dude that brought me in that was setting me up to take his job when he was legitimately going to retire, he just got escorted out. I'm next. So she was like, okay, fine. And I think one talk show I was listening to said that she's with Tyson Chicken now. So it's like, I got a job with Tyson right now. If that's the case, peace out. I'm done.
They completely just straight up left. Damn.
Yeah. And basically, yeah. And it's like, and when you look at the rhetoric that's going around, Tom Warren is sitting here on The Verge and has turned this into the diary of an angry black woman. She's the one that messed up Xbox. Man, if you don't shut your I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. If you don't shut your ass up with that corporate racist bullshit, you really should. If I was his editor, I would seriously. He might have lost his job with that article. Like, real talk. He might have lost his job with that article. But we're in this environment, like I said, you got any kind of melanin in you, you got a vagina, it's automatically your fault. Never mind the fact that I put you behind the wheel of the freaking Titanic as half of it is already underwater. Nah, your black ass should have done something to right the ship. It's like, really? What do you expect me to do, bro? It's like you guys are the worst. You guys are the worst. And now we have an AI drone and Matt Booty.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Charge.
So basically, Microsoft, and they put this woman, Asha Sharma, as the Microsoft gaming CEO on there. So basically, she is succeeding Phil Spencer. She came from Microsoft's Core AI product. She was the president of that. And so basically that she was leading the project portfolio for AI models, apps, agents, and responsible AI. So that's what she was doing prior to her appointment. She is not a gamer. I saw another article, which I didn't put in the show notes, but basically it said that she only created her Xbox gamer tag with like a month ago, and that the amount of trophies that are being accumulated on the profile are way more than what she would have the opportunity to be able to play in that month's worth of time. You're talking about like platinum trophies and a number of games on there. So, but that's far beyond the point. But she was named as Microsoft Gaming CEO. Matt Booty is Chief Content Officer. And they also went ahead. They had an interview with Jez Corden from Windows Central. It was the only like one-on-one interview that they published since the transition of leadership. And they're making mention. They're talking, about we want to return to console. Like they're trying to like maybe talk back about all this Xbox Play Anywhere. Everything's an Xbox initiative. I know that also too in that interview, that Matt Booty actually said, we're not equipped to become simply just a publisher. So he was making basically throwing the meat out there saying that we're not just a publisher now. They still are talking about maybe bring Xbox back to what it was, the Maverick energy that it had when it was initially created. So,
Maverick, that Maverick energy is gone. It ain't coming back.
Yeah.
They had also an interview with Xbox co-founder Seamless Blackley. They talked to him, and basically he gave his opinion of all that. And he says that basically the CEO's been brought in as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night, is his quote.
Facts.
Wow. Yeah, and he feels like the brand is being sunsetted by Microsoft. So we'll have to see, what happens with all this. But, obviously us as a podcast, we have no kind of investment in Xbox anymore. We're just glad when they decide to publish games on other platforms, basically reap the rewards, we'll have to
Certainly
see
do.
if they do come up with a reason to pick up an Xbox console, if they bring out exclusives again. I think it's too far gone, in my opinion.
It's too far gone, and they've made too much money.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens with the new leadership, but I'm just hoping these studios, Bethesda, Activision, even the smaller studios within said companies survive. Hopefully they don't get AI pushed on them. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. But we'll have to see what happens in the Xbox in the future. Des, do you have anything else to say about this? I mean, it's just like pretty much it's done deal, right?
Yeah, it's a done deal at this point. I mean, at this point, we just have to see where they're going to go with it, and then just not be surprised when we don't have an Xbox console anymore. I guess.
Especially
they're saying even the Magnus is up for debate as to whether or not it's actually going to come out.
Oh, with RAM and prices and everything right now, it's ridiculous.
That's what I'm telling you. It's crazy out there with trying to get stuff taken care of, So,
but AMD has said that the chipsets for that of what Magnus would be using are ready.
Yeah,
but ain't nobody bought anything yet. Apparently,
I know that they're looking to make that chip part of the new Radeon line of graphics cards, but we'll have to see. This growing thirst for AI products, and Department of Defense using AI for God knows what, monitoring of who knows what, and using it in war and whatnot. That AI is here to stay, I guess. So
yeah. So. And the thing is, and again, this is like the just the dishonest rhetoric that comes from, and any corporation. I'm sure if you dig into PlayStation, you'll find them to have that they've done the same thing. But when you're like literally the person that's running the show, I was going to say you don't have to be into the thing that the widget that you're building, but you at least need to understand the customer that buys the widget. I'll say that. I like bringing my analogies to the automotive industry. that would be like Chevrolet putting the development of the next Corvette in the hands of somebody who who only knew subcompacts and minivans.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to do that. And you could say, well, that person understands the automotive industry. Yeah, they do. They understand the mass production, those cars that appeal, that sell tens of millions of units a year, but they don't understand the customer who's looking for a 1,000 horsepower supercar that they don't have to take to a shop and void their warranty to get it modified to put out that kind of power. They want that factory warranty. They don't understand how that customer operates, what that customer wants. And it's the same thing here. It's like y'all, well, we're going to go back to that Maverick. Come on. It's like even the responses sound AI.
Yeah.
I mean, this gal thinks that AI can be utilized to fix, low birth rates. I have no idea how that works. And this is nothing against her. It's just that she's in an industry, a subset of this industry that really doesn't have anything to do with gaming. I mean, she was in charge of Instacart and Lowe's. She did Lowe's online infrastructure. She worked on that, either Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the two. And it's like, that's great for business, mass consumption, mass market business. But you're talking about gaming, and not only are you talking about gaming, you're talking about a particular type of gamer. You're talking about a console gamer. Console gamer is different from a PC gamer, who is different than your mobile gamer. It's like, I'm not seeing it here. And having, people saying, well, Matt Booty is it will be able to teach her and direct her and show her what she needs to do. Oh, you mean the same guy that was like, yeah, Phil, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's put all our games on a service so people don't have to buy them anymore. That guy, he's going to show her what to do? Really? Okay.
All I say is that, me and Desmond's Xbox Game Pass is running out in April of 2026. I am not going back to Argentina to buy my renewal cards, so...
I forgot about that. Thank you for saying something. I completely forgot about that, sir.
Oh, I know if you want to fire up your PC, which I know you love to do, that...
I didn't even think about that, Argentina. Woo, sir, you done messed me up, sir. I was like, I even thought about Xbox for so long.
Yeah, we still have a shared Game Pass Ultimate account. It will be out as of April. I think April 1st, April Fool's Day, of course.
How dare you? You better get it, Joe.
I got a free month code somewhere, so if you want it, guess what? Joe. You could have it. Take it. So, we gotta cover some release dates and announcements in the last couple of weeks. First game that I was like going gaga over, Nintendo announced a Xenoblade Chronicles X Switch 2 edition. So that was announced. You could upgrade your existing Switch 1 edition of the game for $5, but guess what? The update was just kind of not good on here. According to Digital Foundry, the upgrade basically had questionable visual quality, even though they bumped the frame rate up to 60 frames a second. Basically, it's a worse experience with the update because of the fact that everything is blurry and looks like crap. And they did something with the upscaling on the Switch 2 version of the game that even though it's at 60 frames, that the visual quality is lessened. So I'm kind of on the fence whether I actually want to pick the upgrade up. I still want to play the game. I think, they mentioned the fact that these visual effects that people are complaining about are more prominent on handheld versus running it docked. And so I think all of us here, I mean, we pretty much don't play Switch or Switch 2 on the go. We always play it docked. So I think that might be a safe thing on there. But if you're interested in Xenoblade Chronicles X, if you want to play it in 60 frames, I mean, I'm thinking maybe at some point they'll actually fix it. I'm hoping they do. So I'll have to kind of take it from there. But I was super excited to see. I even told Des, I'm going to play it now because it's been on my back burner. It's been on my backlog, but it's something where I keep looking at it. I was like, oh, it looks so tasty, but you know, I keep it on the stove and never serve it. So I know I want to serve it soon. So, but we'll have to see. I don't know if you're interested in Xenoblade Chronicles X at all, Kev. I don't think it's your type of game per se, but
I wouldn't have the time for it.
Yeah,
it's like I'm culling my backlog as we speak. It's like I just had to be real with, am I really going to have the time to go back and play all these games that are hours and hours and hours long? And it's like they're games that I would want to play if I had that time, but I just don't.
Yeah.
So I'm culling the herd literally as well. I've actually done it, but I might go back and do some more culling. You know, meanwhile, I've got Resident Evil 9 on its way, but that game is only, 12 hours long? Those are the types of games that are going to be more in my wheelhouse now, just because of the amount of time so little time that I have to actually play.
Yeah, for sure. Now, there was another game announcement, too, that I think caught my eye, caught Desmond's eye as well. So Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, announced new Pokemon tentpole titles, meaning the next generation. I think this is the 10th generation of Pokemon, if I'm not mistaken. But they announced Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves on here. So they had a nice intro video. It looked nicer than what I thought it would look. You know, we'll have to see once it actually does come out. I'm looking at it, and they took a lot of inspiration from Southeast Asia. So a lot of the the Philippines and other islands of that nature, as far as the kind of background and the biomes, if need be, for the game. They also introduced new starter Pokemon. So you got looks like Brout, which is the grass type, Pombon, which is the fire type of dog, and then Gekquia, which is a water type. So, you know, so I'm kind of curious what they're going to come up with as far as new Pokemon is concerned, as far as this next generation, you know, because, you know, next generation of Pokemon doesn't come around all that often. I mean, I think the last one was Scarlet and Violet, if need be. I think we usually get like one per console generation. So, but we'll have to see about this. Des, do you have any thoughts about it? Are you excited for this once it comes out in 2027?
I'm actually excited for it. I do believe that this one is when we're finally going to see the Switch 2 show its the hardware. We're actually able to see what it looks like. I think this is finally the one that people wanted after Arceus. Or Arceus, or whatever it's called. I think this is the one that people wanted, where you're running around outside doing stuff, hanging out, and you're not sequestered to quote-unquote areas. So I am actually pretty excited for this, and I really hope that shakeup with Power World and all that other stuff, you know, told them, hey, you know, we're going to at least allow this to grow, allow Pokemon to grow. At least that's my hope anyway. But I'll have to wait and see. I do think that all the starter Pokemon look hilarious. I think that, you know, Game Freak's continuing to make water type starter Pokemon's gay is hilarious. So if you don't know, go look at the meme. So it looks like every water type Pokemon in the last couple of generations have been like hella gay. So just notice that and have fun with it. And yeah, so I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun, and I really hope that you and I can get some matches in, and I just hope it's fun. I just hope it's fun. I hope they actually do a little bit of extra stuff. Like I don't think that they are because I just don't think that that's what they want to do. By they I mean the Pokemon Company. So,
Yeah, one thing to note: there's no Switch version of this game. It's simply just Switch 2 for Winds and Waves. So
that's what I mean. So that's why I think it's going to be like this is going to be the one where they finally be like, hey, we're gonna finally
leave the old hardware behind.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, do these games have any correlation with the trading card game? Like, do they?
No.
They don't. Okay.
Not really.
I mean, obviously, characters. Once this game comes
characters,
out,
but like, is there going to be like a Pokemon Wins, Elite
There might
Trainer
be.
pack and all that stuff that go along with it?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you meant I'm sorry. I thought you meant if there's like a storyline or something that happens, but no. No, it's like it'll show up. It'll show up in the card games, and so you'll have like Wind and Wave and stuff like that. But the actually having a storyline or anything like that, no. It's just cards to play the card game with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be interested. I don't know if there's a Pokemon game that we could go back to and play together, like Scarlet and Violet or Pokemon ZA. I bought ZA and it's been collecting dust on my shelf. So, and I don't know if you have any intention of going back to ZA anytime soon, or even start it, Des. But
I started and started playing it, and I didn't think it was bad. It's just kind of boring.
Got it.
Like seriously, like that's the sad thing about these Pokemon games nowadays is they're just kind of boring.
Kind of just stuck.
Yeah.
Samey. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, other games did get announced. A release date for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Say that fast 3 times. Is coming out on April 28th for PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is coming from Bitmap Bureau on there. So, and it's a game that me and Des actually had a chance to try out at the limited run booth at PAX this past year on here. So, and from what we thought about it, I thought it was okay. I'm not a big He-Man stan, so,
I thought it was great. I'm surprised. Like, Kevin, immediately when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, this has Kevin written all over it. It looked so good. It played like a classic retro beat 'em up, but it just looked so good. Like I was like, yes, let's do this. So I'm excited for it. Like I was like, wow, this looks good. Like them coming back with all these retro fighting retro games, and I'm just like, they're just so good right now. Like I don't know what it is, but like they're really putting the sauce in it on it or something. Because I was like, damn, this is really good. Anyway,
yeah, Bitmap Bureau, they've done like Final Vendetta, which is another like belt scroller brawler that I've played and enjoyed. They also did Terminator 2D No Fate on there, so they're prominent on there for sure. So, Kev, are you looking forward to He-Man at all?
Yeah, actually, I am. I liked He-Man as a kid. I wasn't a He-Man. I don't know if I never got into the action figures. I never did do that. I never got into the action figures, but I did like the show. The only He-Man that I had, the He-Man thing that I had was there was this lizard called Terron the Terrible, and it came with like a He-Man action figure that shot this light in his chest, like the insignia would shoot a beam of light, and the way that you made the giant lizard stop and act like it had been hit was to shoot it at its sensor that was on the front. It was like a battery operated thing, and it would walk, and it was actually kind of that was the only He-Man toy that I had. I kind of wish I still had it, because that would probably be worth a hell of a lot of money right now. But
I had the one where it was like you could fill up its chest with water, and you can squirt it, and it like squirted and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget. I can't remember the name of him, but I'll never forget. I was like playing around, and I squirted my mom, and she says, "You squirt that thing at me again, I'm gonna throw it away." And I did, and she threw it away. And dared me to go get it, and I was like, "That's what I did. It's my fault."
No, man.
Yeah.
And with limited run, that He-Man's eventually going to get a physical release, but they haven't really said as far as when that's going to come on there. So
Oh yeah, most definitely.
we'll have to see. And also, limited run announced another new title, and this is a compilation. It's the Marvel Maximum Collection. So this basically is a hodgepodge of different Marvel games from the past. On here, the big tent poles for this collection, X-Men the arcade game is finally getting a console release, because this game in the arcade never came out for any sort of platforms back in the day. And so you're getting the full X-Men arcade game, Konami beat 'em up on there. So multiplayer support up to 6 players. So if you want to play multiplayer online with 5 other peeps, guess what? You get a chance to go and do that. Now, they also included Data East's Captain America and the Avengers, so I enjoyed this game quite a bit back in the day, too. So, and this came
Sure
out
did.
on the Genesis and also on the Super Nintendo, but, I'm grateful that they're going to bring this out for modern day compilation. And then for whatever reason, they threw a bunch of other games in here, including all of the wonderful Acclaim games, Marvel Acclaim games, including Spider-Man Venom, Maximum Carnage,
Yeah.
Venom Spider-Man, Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge, which is another Acclaim classic, quote unquote, haha,
Mm-hmm.
and the Silver Surfer NES game for whatever reason. It was the most challenging shooters ever to grace a console. I've read about Silver Surfer, and I've never played it, but
I did. It was terrible.
I know. The soundtrack's a banger, though. It's probably one of the best soundtracks, but yeah. I just wish in this compilation they could have dipped in and grabbed some other games besides the Acclaim Spider-Man games. I mean,
I low
what's your
key
opinion
like
of the?
I low key like the Acclaim Spider-Man, the ones where it's Venom, or he teams up with
Yeah,
Maximum Carnage. I had
yeah,
Maximum Carnage, and I think it well, that game kind of came out at a time where I was really into comic books, and I was actively reading or rereading the Maximum Carnage series, and I don't know if I just kind of made myself like it, or or if I thought it was a decent game. It was by far not my favorite game. It was cheap as hell. You died to cheap hits, and the hit detection was awful. But I kind of made myself like that game for some reason. So I'm kind of glad to see it come back, low key, but I would have preferred them getting I don't know, what was that Spider-Man, and was it Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, that Sega one, that
yeah.
Sega
That's what I was going to
arcade game?
mention. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I would have
talked
rather
about.
them get that instead of what it claimed. I will say that.
If they got, because I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, Sega themselves, Sega of America, published some X-Men games. They had X-Men and X-Men 2 Clone Wars. And so both of those games, were good. I don't think they were, great, but they were way, and in my opinion, better than anything Acclaim came up with. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the Spider-Man game, especially the arcade game that Sega made, and then also they had a 32X game called Web of Fire, I guess, that was kind of riffing off the arcade game as well, and that would have been a great game to pick. But we'll have to see. I mean, they're working with Marvel and kind of getting this compilation out, but I think X-Men, Captain America, and the Avengers will kind of carry the collection in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes
I'm
it worth
getting it.
getting. Just
I'm
those
getting
three
it.
games right there.
I'm
Yeah.
getting it. It just looks amazing, and I'm just like, hell yeah!
There you go. We'll have to see when release date's coming out, but we'll probably get a physical at some point since it's limited run. I don't know if you want to wait a year for it, but they're actually getting a little bit better. Like I know the new Scott Pilgrim game, EX, is actually pre-orderable outside of limited run. You could actually pre-order it on Amazon, so it's available just in case if you want to wait, like I think 6 to 8 weeks from its release date, which is practically it's coming out next week on there. So hopefully, if it's big enough, they could maybe take it out of the limited run game collection and have it available elsewhere. Like, I don't have no problem with limited run, especially if I could get a game from Amazon or from another retailer. I just don't want to order it from limited run and pay the shipping and wait 10 million gazillion years. I mean, what's that one game that me and you both ordered, Des, that we waited 10 million years for? It was a Switch game.
Metal.
Yeah.
That was like horrible.
I think it was a few years after we paid for it that barely.
Like 2. And I was like, are we serious with this? And sure enough.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
Nope. All right. And that is the Jabroni Gaming News for episode 301.
All right. So game nights take place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That is the date and time that we set aside to play with our growing Discord community. So if there's a game that you would like to play, feel free to post it in our game night section on our Discord. And we or members of our Discord will be happy to play the game with you. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do I join the Discord? Well, that's easy as well. You just head over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X.
X.
Or Blue Sky, and you go to @GamingVessels, GamingVessels. You click the link in the bio, and you're in. We don't have any merch to hawk, and we don't have a Patreon tier list that you need to pay for to join. All we ask is that you just be a decent human being, likes playing, talking about, and discussing video games. I think you will have a fantastic stay aboard the good ship Gaming Vessel. So, folks, that's going to bring episode 301 to a close. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out without a doubt this week. So, for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Lover.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. That Gamer Stepdaddy, and for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I am Shonuff71, a.k.a. Digadulamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And we'll be back next week, episode 302 for your ear holes. Peace.